Hi, and welcome to a new episode of Moto Press Play, episode 7. And today we're going to talk about a dual sport bike that I tried this past weekend. It's a Suzuki DR650. It's a 2006 model, and if you compare it with today's model, like 2018 or 2019, it's pretty much the same exact bike. I mean, they've been making this bike for the past, I think, 20 years, and it's pretty much the same bike, just different colorways. But other than that, it's still the same bike. It's what people say bulletproof, or it's the Swiss Army knife of dual sport bikes. So I thought, why don't I check it out? Since my buddy Michael has been riding it for a while, I said, why don't you try it out? It's probably one of the easiest dual sport bikes that you can ride there. Especially, it's the shortest one that I found compared to the other brands. I think Yamaha is probably the shortest seat height. But I kind of want to check the Suzuki. It's kind of catchy. I like the color scheme. So this is a 2006 model. He's added like a bigger tank, and he's put like an exhaust, and he's put these nice little guards on the hand guards, and also this nice windscreen on the front here. And also I think the tires are more off-road, so I think they're like 30% street and 70% off-road. And also he changed the first gear. I think it's a lot longer. I noticed that when I was riding it, you can ride first gear a lot longer than your typical or a common bike. I don't know, on my R3, I can only go on first gear for like 1 second. This one you can ride first gear for I think 5 or 10 seconds or whatnot. I never went higher than third gear on the street while riding this thing, because it's got so much power. It had 650 cc, so it's a little intimidating at first because I'm not that tall. So getting on this bike, I thought I was gonna drop it when I first got on it. I was like, oh man, I'm not sure, this might be too tall. I'm on this site called ridershare.com, and basically you can go in there and just rent bikes. You can rent bikes from like 1 day to like 5 days. I'm in the Burbank area, and what's the closest one? And unfortunately, there's not a lot of dual sports motorcycles that are for rent around this area. So I was like, well, where else am I going to find one? I think majority of the ones deep in like Thousand Oaks. So it's like, man, there's nothing around the area. So, and I found this family. They actually live close by. They live literally like a mile away from where I live. I think if you go in Ridershare, he's under Florentino V, and it's a father and son, and they've been riding dual sport for a long time. I think he started riding when he was 8 years old. He just turned 18, and he's an amazing rider. Especially when it comes to off-road and duals. His dad is an enthusiast too, so when I met them, they were really super nice. They're very welcoming, and they just kind of gave me the tricks of the trade. Like, hey, blah blah blah, don't be scared. This bike kind of goes down a little bit. So stock, this bike is actually around 34, almost 35 inches high, but the fact that he changed the springs, they changed suspension, and he changed the seat height. He actually changed the seats so it's more comfortable, but it's a little thicker, and also changing the tires to make it more off-road. That adds a little bit more height. So I think, all in all, I think it's at least 36 inches, because I could barely put my foot down, but as soon as I sat on it, it kind of sank like about 2 inches. So I was just like, okay. And then the bike is super light, so I was able to kind of just like put 1 foot down, and then there's times where like, oh shit, I'm gonna tip over, but then again, I was able to catch it on my right foot. So if I tried to put it on first gear, I have to like put my right foot down and then put it on first, and then if I need to put the kickstand down, I'd have to put my right foot again. Most of the time when I'm pulling up to a stop, I would just kind of just slow down and then slowly put my left foot down already. And then once my left foot is down, it's easy. And then I have my right foot on the rear brake the whole time. And it's so light. And then, then I'll slide half of my butt out with my left foot so I can flat foot it when I'm fully stopped. So that really helps. And, after I think 20 minutes, it was easy. I got the hang of this bike. It's like perfect. And just the ergonomics of this bike is great. I can ride this thing for hours, honestly. I didn't even feel like I was going 50 because I was on third gear, because I'm so used to the digital dash on my R3. I never really learned how to like look at a regular analog dial, and then it didn't tell me what gear I was on. So the only thing it'll tell you is like it's on neutral. But other than that, when you're shifting up and down, it's just like, oh shit, I don't know what gear I am. But then you figure it out. It's like That's how a motorcycle should be ridden. It's like none of this crazy digital tech and all that stuff. You just ride it and it's just like good to go. And I think that's what makes this bike so bulletproof, because like none of the digital stuff goes in there. It's very old school. It's carbureted, so if something goes wrong, you can fix it, right? Like you know what's wrong with it, and it doesn't have all that extra electronic stuff that goes into it. It's like it's easy. It's really easy to maintain, easy to fix, and all that. And then this bike is beautiful. He put some guards on the handlebars and guards around the clutch and the brake levers, and it's just a beautiful bike. It's just like it caught my attention. It's like, man, I gotta try this bike, and so far it's been amazing. Like this bike is awesome. Like I don't know, I'm torn now between the MT-07 and this bike. Now it's just like, man, I can't explain how great this is, but the best thing I can explain is that it's kind of like riding a bicycle that just happens to have an engine, and then you can flick it. It's so easy, it's so tall, and you can see everything, and you just feel like, I don't know, you just feel like you can see everything. And then and the best thing about this bike is that they see you because you're so high. So if you pull behind a car that's in front of you, they can actually see you on the rear view mirror. Compared to my R3, it's so low, so if I'm behind a pickup truck, he can't see me. So I don't know if he'll reverse or whatnot, but at least with this bike, it's pretty high. And once you're riding, and like as a short rider myself, it's just like you don't feel it anymore. It's kind of like, oh, it's so light. It's like riding a bicycle. That's how amazing these bikes are. That's why people always say you should start on a dual sport bike, because they're easy. It's more like if you're not comfortable leaning, you can kind of use the handlebars to steer yourself through. But that's just my opinion. I don't know. I haven't been riding that long, but from what I got from riding this bike, it's kind of like riding a bicycle, except it just happens to have an engine, and it's great. Like when people explain, it's like, oh man, like once you go dual sport, that's it. That's all you're gonna ride. And I think I'm kind of getting there, but I still want my my sport bike. But this is kind of like a good, like, oh, let me try other stuff. So it's kind of like I can switch off riding this bike and my sport bike like every other day or every 2 days. Or if I go into canyons, I can take this bike real easy, and then I'll switch off the next week with my sport bike. So it's kind of like, you gotta have options, especially if you're riding bikes. I know people do it all the time. So now I get it. Like that's probably why they do it, and it's like I love it. So anywho, so yeah, when I started riding it, felt great, and then I took it to the freeway. Let's see, I probably went about, I think 70. I think I went about 70 on this bike, and it was able to hang, like, but I could feel it kind of like, okay, it's shaking a little bit. So maybe 60, 65 tops. I was on this thing, and see, the cars are lapping me, and you can definitely do freeways on these things. Just felt a little scary, but I just wanted to know what it feels like, and that was it. So then going through Van Nuys, and you can see like Van Nuys Airport. See that plane landing right there? That's kind of cool. And then here's on the way to Agua Dulce, and here we are, just getting here, checking out the area. Run first, and then you just go. I was just on first gear because he kept his first gear long. I think the first gear goes up to like 20 or almost 30 miles an hour in first gear, and you can just cruise along. I think he geared it I think he geared this bike more for climbing. He said he likes to go up and climb mountains and actually desert. He said this is good for desert. So yeah, so we're just cruising here, just checking out this area. It's a lot of people, I guess, go on hikes here, and they just follow the trails. It's not super off dirt road. I mean, if you have a regular car, you don't need specific tires to get on here, but it's just good to have, knowing that I have these tires on, especially it's my first time riding on off-road, and I just feel like with these tires I feel more confident I'm gonna get some traction and not gonna slip all over the place. So yeah, just checks this area out. Who would have thought, like, literally like 30 to 35 minutes outside of Los Angeles, you can see something like this. It's amazing. You're just checking out this area. Pretty amazing. just good to get out. You know, I guess this is the benefit. This is the beauty of being on dual sports. Like you can ride street, and then once you get to your destination, that's really where you see the difference. Like, man, I'm actually out here. Like you can just kind of just like disconnect from the city life and just kind of like enjoy this quiet, peaceful place, and you can find some serenity out here. You know, it's just be one with nature. And you know, it's just calming, it's just soothing. You know, it's like, you know, all this stuff, and you become a kid again. It's kind of like riding on a dirt path on your BMX. I don't know, that's how I felt like a little kid riding around here. It was just great. You just see all these mountain ranges, and you know, yeah, it's just cool. Just check it out, look, enjoy. Like, man, I can't help but be in awe with all this stuff. And it's just like, now I get it. Now I know why these guys do get on adventure bikes, and when they go on their dual sports, like it's because of this. They get to do cool things like this. You know, it's like you can just ride whenever you want. You know, like you can go anywhere. I guess if you don't have a pickup truck, you can just ride one of these bikes, and these bikes can go forever. It can travel however you want. I don't know, guys. I really like this dual sport. I'm really considering either getting this over the MT-07. Even though the MT-07 is great, I love that bike. Like, I just want all of them when it comes to off-road. So it's kind of like it fills that void that I had, you know, just going off-road. Is like, man, this is kind of like my pace right here. Just kind of like just cruising, enjoying the moment, and just seeing nature. You know, it's just amazing. But yeah, this bike is great. You know, it's like when they say this bike is bulletproof, it really is a bulletproof bike. Like, it's like the Swiss Army knife of you know, motorcycles, and it's amazing. I can ride this thing forever. The seat height may be high, but then again, my back is so straight. It's upright. It's just like, oh man. And I feel like when you're riding this motorcycle, you can see everything. That's the benefit of any bike that's, you know, has that upright position. But yeah, you know, like, I can't explain it. I don't know if any of you guys, or the ones that do have ridden dual sports, can kind of, you know, like agree to me, like this bike is amazing. So yeah, so that's the review. If I had the money, would I get the DR650? Absolutely, without question. It's either this or the DRZ 400 SM Supermoto, but we know whichever is cheaper. But I think I'm liking the 650 more, just because I'm doing more street. You know, even though it's a little heavier, you know, I'm still a beginner. Like, I can do this every weekend and be happy, and then come back Monday with a smile on my face. You know, so yeah, so that's my review on the DR650. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave any comments in the bottom, and let me know what you think about the DR650, or let me know what's a better bike than DR650 for dual sport or for supermoto. Let me know. I'd like to know. I just want to compare, like, what kind of bike I might want to get in the future. But based on my experience and this review, it's an awesome bike. I would recommend anyone getting this bike, just because it's beautiful. There's all kinds of stuff you can do to it. It's easy to work on, and that's it. I can't say anything. There's only so much I can say about this bike. It's an amazing bike. So again, I want to give a shout out to Angel and his father, Tino, for, you know, give me an opportunity to rent this bike. And if you guys do, or if you guys are in the LA Burbank area, yeah, hit them up. Hit up Florentino V and Rider Share, and they have good rates, and they're really awesome. So if you need any help, they're right there. You just call them. They'll call you back if you see anything's wrong. Like, there's anything that you don't get about the bike. Like, for me, I thought there was something wrong on the bike, and, you know, I didn't know, like, there wasn't enough gas in the tank, but they came by anyway, and they told me they wanted to check it out, and they found out, yeah, there's not enough tank in the bike. So they came over, and they had a 5-gallon tank, and then they filled up my the bike at my house, and I was able to ride. So again, that was one of the good things about what this family does, when they did for me riding this, and I can't thank him enough for showing me this experience riding this dual sport. So to Angel and Tino, thank you so much. I appreciate. and hopefully I can rent from you guys soon. So yeah, check out Rider Share, and let me know if you have any comments. Leave them down the bottom and hit that subscribe button. Okay, thank you. Have a good week and ride safe.